What is going on, y'all? What is going on? What is going on? What is going on, y'all? I'm not even gonna fake the funk. I'm not even gonna fake the fucking funk. I am tired. I am tired. I am motherfucking tired of having the same fucking conversations that my goddamn father, grandfather, great grandfather, great great grandfather have been having in reference to the injustices against black bodies. Okay? Now, it's been a few days since Tyre, the video surfaced, or the body cam video footage surfaced of what happened to Tyre, which was completely sick, inhumane, and in no way, shape, or form showcases what the police is supposed to be about: public servants to the people. But yet we see how these people in blue treat brown and black people. And the fact that their color, the color of their skin, is enough proof for them to be guilty automatically. Okay? Now, a video was shared with me by one of them, cut the music down a little bit more, was shared with me by one of my supporters by the name of Harold. Shout out to him. I did a live earlier today expressing my thoughts about the whole situation with Tyre and just how cities all across America are preparing for the backlash. And this is a fucking cycle, because the same thing happened with Rodney King. The same thing happened with a lot of individuals who had their lives snuffed out and it was shown publicly for all to see. I ended up watching the video. I didn't want to. I've seen people on my timeline tell me and tell the black people, don't subject yourself to that type of trauma, because that is an instinctual trauma that black people have dealt with for so long. Unfortunately, it's in our fucking DNA to be afraid, to be scared, and to be triggered. But for the context and the nuance of today's commentary, I had to look at the video. And it made me sick to where I had an appetite. I don't even have one anymore. The level of brutality was uncalled for. Didn't it say in the justice system that people are innocent until proven guilty, and then proven guilty, hey Donna, proven guilty by their fucking peers? Isn't that what's supposed to happen? But that didn't happen. Those police officers, whether they were black, whether they were white, they were still police officers, and we've seen how the police collectively have treated black and brown bodies with disdain, with disgust. Okay? It was uncalled for. But once again, a video was shared with me by, again, a supporter of mine who said that there was a black woman, and I've heard her name before, Carmen Caboom. I've heard of her before, but it wasn't really in a good light. I think she was involved in some situation with T.S. Madison, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I've heard her name before. And like I said, I did a live earlier, and I was just upset. I was crying and everything. I was just overwhelmed emotionally about how sick and twisted we can be towards each other for no apparent reason. Okay? There's no probable cause for that. Okay? So anyway, he's told me the name of the content creator, Carmen Caboom, and I ended up watching some of her commentary. And I said, yeah, I have to respond to this. I have to respond to this. because there's a lot of ignorance that is going on. And that's why research is important. And yes, black people, we are very emotional people, and we do need emotional intelligence. But when it comes down to shit like this, I feel like black people also have the right to be a human being and to be angry and to be upset, especially when they're talking about shit that has happened to them and that is happening to them. Okay? So we're going to get into Miss Carmen Caboom's video, and before we do that, you know what we have to do over here on BubzDaGawd. We always dot our I's and cross our T's, baby. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use, okay, for purposes such as criticism. We're going to give a lot of that. Commentary, we're definitely going to give that. News reporting, we're going to show some things, some reputable articles of information, because when you are trying to prove your point, you have to bring forth the facts, not just what you believe, but also the facts that have been presented. Okay, that's what we do in the court of law, girl. It's supposed to do in the court of law. Okay. News reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. And with that being said, I also give Miss Carmen Caboom the okay, the green light to even use this commentary in her commentary. If she wants to take my video and break down what I said, that is perfectly fine. I am not against that. Okay? We're all trying to critique and understand each other. There's a lot of bullshit going on, okay? So before we get into her video, let's get into some articles, okay? This article was taken from CNN.com. I don't know if you can read it. It's pretty small, but I'm going to read it for you, okay? And it reads, the newly released videos of Tyre, I think it's Nichols, if I'm not mistaken, police beating capture the brutality that his family and authorities had already foreshadowed. He was punched and kicked while being restrained. He pleaded to go home and repeatedly yelled for his mom. And after the beating, while Nicole lay slumped and motionless against the car, officers walking around on scene ignored the 29-year-old black man. The video consists of 3 shorter body cam clips and one roughly 31-minute video taken from a utility pole camera, which appears to capture most of the violence that unfolded just steps from Nicole's home in Memphis. The video shows portions of both the initial traffic stop on the night of January 7th and a second altercation just minutes later, after Nichols fled the first location on foot. Nichols required hospitalization after the encounter and died on January the 10th. What you're seeing is a fairly significant number of officers who are failing at arrest and control tactics and making up for it with brutality, said CNN Chief Law Enforcement and Intelligence Analyst John Miller. Law enforcement analysts who viewed the clips were troubled by a range of actions and inactions during the encounter, from the beating by a group of officers to the length of time it took for someone to render aid to a motionless Nichols. The videos leave many questions unanswered, including the reason for the stop, which the officers do not explain in the clips. Memphis police initially said Nichols was pulled over for suspected reckless driving. But police chief, I think it's Sherilyn, if I'm not mistaken, C.J. Davis, told CNN on Friday authorities have not been able to substantiate that claim. The clips also do not answer why authorities used such force on Nichols, who did not appear to fight back, and why they felt compelled to confront him twice. But the videos do shed light on just how violent the fatal confrontation was. Here are some key revelations. We're going to be reading a little bit, y'all, because again, context and nuance is very important. Okay? You need those in order to make the most informed analysis, okay, of a situation. Officers repeatedly threatened Nichols with violence. Videos from the encounter captures the multiple officers threatening Nichols with violence while he appears to comply with their commands or is already on the ground. A body camera video that captures the initial encounter between Nichols and police shows the officer getting out of his car with his gun drawn and captures an officer yelling for Nichols to, quote, get the fuck out of the car, end quote. Nichols is heard saying, quote, I didn't do anything, end quote. And later, as he gets on the ground, quote, all right, I'm on the ground, end quote. An officer yells at him, quote, bitch, put your hands behind your back before I'm going to knock your ass the fuck out, end quote. Nichols says, quote, I'm just trying to go home, end quote. While officers yell commands, Nichols repeatedly responds that he is on the ground and is heard saying he didn't do anything before running away as an officer deploys his taser. At the second encounter, where the beating occurs, a body camera captures an officer yelling at Nichols, quote, I'm going to baton the fuck out of you, end quote, while Nichols is on the ground and not fighting back. An officer is also heard asking, quote, do you want to be sprayed again, end quote, while Nichols is on the ground and yelling for his mom. Officers struck him 9 times in under 4 minutes. The video taken from the remotely controlled camera on a neighborhood utility pole shows Memphis officers continuously hitting Nichols at least 9 times without visible provocation. Quote, the pole cam video is the one that really justifies the charges, end quote, says former Philadelphia Police Commissioner Charles Ramsey, a CNN law enforcement analyst. Quote, nobody trains for that. These guys are acting so far outside of bounds that you really can't explain it. One officer, oh Lord, that could be the same thing. Did I get the other one? One officer, hope I ain't mess it up, did I? Hold on, y'all, gotta try to find it. Put my phone, hold on, because I thought I had all the clips. Excuse me, 1 second. 1 second. Again, if you want to read the article yourself, the link for the article is in the description box below. Hold on, y'all. Let me read it from here, because maybe that'll be better. Hold on. 1 second, y'all. Excuse me. Excuse me. Yes, let me get down to this point because I want to make sure I read this right. Because we do context and nuance over here. No shade. Where are we at? Okay. 1 second, y'all. Okay, nobody trains for that. These guys are acting so far outside of bounds that you can't really explain it. One officer kicked him so hard and so much that he's limping around. Okay, I think this is the other one. Oh yeah, it's the same thing, y'all. My bad. I just had okay, there it is. In the poll video, an officer is seen shoving Nichols on the pavement with what appears to be his leg or knee. Nichols is then pulled up by his shoulders and kicked in the face twice, and then later is hit in the back with what appears to be a nightstick. Seconds later, he is hit again. Once he's pulled to his feet, officers are seen hitting Nichols in the face multiple times while other officers are restraining his hands behind his body. No one rendered aid in critical minutes after beating. When officers let go of Nichols, he rolls on his back and then is dragged along the pavement and propped up in a sitting position against the side of the car, where he remains largely ignored by the officers on the scene. According to one of the body camera videos released, while Nichols is slumped next to the car unattended, officers appear to say at least 2 officers Okay? Pepper sprayed him and another tased Nichols. Quote, no one is doing anything to help him. It goes back to the failure to act, the failure to care, and the overall obliviousness of the officers that are just standing around, end quote, says former New York Police Lieutenant Darren Pocher. Paramedics appear to show up on scene about 10 minutes into the video. Roughly 23 minutes pass from the time Nichols appeared to be subdued after the beating before a stretcher arrives on scene. Quote, it's horrific to watch, end quote, says CNN chief medical correspondent Dr. Sanjay Gupta. Quote, there's all sorts of different injuries he may have suffered. So many of the injuries to the head, you saw kicks to the head, you saw these blows to the head, punches to the head. That's obviously very concerning, end quote. What could happen in situations like that, Gupta added, is that the brain can begin to swell and there can be internal bleeding. Quote, that's why this timing is so critical, because if the brain is swelling, he still seemed like he was talking at some point, but was obviously getting worse. The brain starts to swell when you're not getting enough oxygenated blood to the brain anymore, and that's what causes the big problem and what can lead to death, end quote. Quote, he's just laying there, obviously in critical condition at this point, end quote. And paramedics aren't particularly equipped to help someone with those kinds of internal injuries, said Dr. Kendall Von Crowns, chief medical examiner in Tarrant County, Texas. The focus should have been on getting Nichols to the hospital for emergency surgery or a transfusion as soon as possible. Quote, we're talking minutes, he said. He really needs to be treated right away. We got two more, y'all, and we're done with the CNN. No officer intervened. Besides the excessive violence, what troubled Pocher was that, quote, no officer was willing to intervene and say, stop, end quote, he told CNN on Friday night. Quote, there's a point where you have to intercede and say either stop or physically step between the officer that's assaulting the person and the actual individual. And that didn't happen, Pocher said. According to Memphis Police Department policies, officers have a duty to intervene. That's very interesting. Yet when we see in history, police officers did not intervene with any other black lives. But it's so interesting that when black police officers do this to this black man, now everybody wants to talk about police conduct and what should and shouldn't happen, but yet give grace and mercy for, okay. Quote, any member who directly observes another member engaged in dangerous or criminal conduct or abuse of a subject shall take reasonable action to intervene, end quote, according to a policy page of the department. And last but not least, 5 Memphis officers, who are also black, were fired earlier this month for violating police policies and were each charged with second-degree murder, among other charges. 2 fire department employees who were part of Nichols' initial patient care were relieved of duty while an internal investigation is being conducted. Department Public Information Officer Quanisha Ward told CNN's Nadia Romero. After the video release, Shelby County Sheriff Floyd Bonner Jr. said he launched an internal investigation into the conduct of 2 deputies, quote, who appeared on the scene following the physical confrontation, end quote. Both deputies, quote, have been relieved of duty, end quote, pending the investigation's outcome, the sheriff said. So here is the information again from CNN. These individuals have been, Ron says, I'm still disturbed over the audio of the police boasting and laughing after what they did to that man. And it's also sad that there's people that are actually defending the police. And yes, and Miss Carmen Caboom is one of those individuals. She believes that the responsibility is not just on the police, but also on Tyre. Because once again, there is a certain perception and concept of black men. You will hear Carmen say that, again, these people in the news article said that he was pulled over for suspected reckless driving, but yet nothing can prove those claims, nothing to substantiate those claims. Yet Miss Carmen says that because he was driving a nigga car to be exact, one of those fast race cars, that he was provoking the police and that the police responded in the way that they should have responded, according to Miss Carmen Caboom. So with that being said, I ask that y'all please get y'all joints ready. I ain't smoked weed in 4 days. Okay, so I'm a little irritated. No shade. And just like she begins in this commentary, I'm gonna try my best as well to remain calm. But if bullshit ensues, girl, I gotta call Cap. Okay, so get y'all weed together, get y'all something to sip on, baby, because we're gonna sit here and have this goddamn conversation. And again, Miss Carmen Caboom, I give you the right, I give you permission to use my commentary to respond to, if you choose to, the audio. That's perfectly fine. Let's get into Miss Carmen's response.
I'm going to try to be just as quick and as calm as possible.
Same here.
With my commentary concerning this Tyre Nichols ordeal and all of the drama that has ensued as a result of the video being released to the general public yesterday evening. A lot has transpired in Memphis and all over the country as a result of different points of view concerning the views of the video. I have my own point of view, and you all have your own point of view.
Yes, we do.
And my point of view has not changed. It has not wavered. I didn't need to see the video. But, looking at the video, it...
You did see the video, but looking at the video, okay.
Does shed some light on some things. And I'm going to talk about it briefly. And I'm going to try not to get myself upset like a lot of people have tried to get me upset that I've been talking about the situation with. And a while ago, I was talking to someone, and this person, I can't even, it's just not limited to this particular topic. It's with any topic. When I talk to this one woman, and a lot of black people have this problem right here. You don't listen, and you try to talk over the other person. That's not how you have dialogue. That's not how you communicate.
Understandable.
I give you the respect and the courtesy of talking. Please give me the same.
We will.
Not one person knows every damn thing.
That's
okay.
True. But then you have people who once again study to show themselves approved. Again, we just started off this live with context and nuance about what's happening. And yes, we don't know everything. We can only go off what it is that we know. But you can't be mad when people educate themselves more so than you do, and to be able to give a more contextual and nuanced observation and commentary about this. But we're going to hear what you're talking about, Ms. Caboom.
And I really find it frustrating when I'm talking to somebody and they have the nerve to feel like they know everything.
Then educate yourself.
And they could be just as dumb as a box of rocks. A lot of people, especially in our community, the black community, you don't listen. And you only hear just to be ready to respond with your own rhetoric. And it really got on my nerves so bad, it started having my heart hurting. I said, Lord, please don't let this I didn't say that, but I wanted to say that. Don't let this heathen cause me to have a heart attack about this situation, please. I mean, my heart started hurting. My chest started hurting real bad. And I found myself just really getting upset because not just her, it's a lot of black people
Mm-hmm.
that's running defense for wrongdoers. Not just this particular
Mm-hmm.
situation,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of situations.
Mm-hmm.
And they only want to see things from their point of view. They want to do what they want to do
Mm-hmm.
instead of doing what they're supposed to do. And they raise their children the same way. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my conclusion.
Okay.
In a nutshell, like I was telling this person that I was talking to a while ago,
Mm-hmm.
to sum this whole thing up,
Mm-hmm.
I can do that very quickly.
Okay. Even though the video is almost an hour long, no shade, girl. I'm the same way. I can break shit down. Now, if you gonna break it down for us.
And to sum this whole situation up
Mm-hmm.
regarding Tyre Nichols, and I wish a lot of y'all would learn how to pronounce his name right and spell it right, please.
Yeah, I said his name. I said Nichols or Nichols, whatever.
To sum the whole thing up,
Mm-hmm.
on both sides of the aisle,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
relating to Tyre Nichols and these 5 police officers,
Mm-hmm.
right or wrong, okay,
Mm-hmm.
the police use their discretion
Mm.
to deal with Tyre Nichols however they decided to deal with him. Fuck the protocol.
Really?
Okay?
Really?
You don't know how you would handle these heathens.
But at the same time, Miss Caboom, we just read in the articles that these police officers have to follow a certain protocol. They failed at arresting him, so they used the next best thing, which was brutal force. These police officers are supposed to follow a protocol because they are public servants. But the issue is that police officers are not taught how to deal with public servants. That's why people are calling for a reform to the police, not to defund them completely, but to once again bring in other avenues of awareness to help police officers in these situations, like having social workers follow them or be on the call with them. Because once again, police officers cannot solve everything with a fucking gun. And when you have a hammer, pretty soon everything begins to look like a fucking nail. Ma'am. So police officers have to follow the protocol if they're supposed to be doing their job, right?
Until you have been put in a position to deal with these heathens. I see how these heathens behave every day. And some people, like the woman I was talking to earlier today, they live a sheltered life in the city. And they play Stevie Wonder to the bullshit. They see what they want to see.
Not you saying they're playing Stevie Wonder, but you got on the goddamn diva version of Stevie Wonder's glasses right now. So is that the pot calling the kettle black, ma'am?
And they don't see what they don't want to see. They uphold the heathens in their wrongdoing. And that's why they treat them like babies. And the babies act like babies, no matter how old they are, 20, 30, 40 years old. And they run defense for their big baby no matter what. And that's why these big babies like Tyre Nichols find themselves in positions like he found himself in. A lot of times they don't live long. They don't live long.
So are you going to provide in your commentary receipts on how Tyre Nichols was a degenerate to society? Are you going to provide in the videos factual evidence to support your claim that he was actually an agent of chaos that was in the community to destroy the community since he is a heathen? I hope you're able to present those facts in your commentary.
And you're not doing them any favor by making excuses for them. And just because the wrongdoing is normal in your household and in your neighborhood, in your city, it doesn't make it right. But the problem is a whole lot of people, especially in the black community, y'all have been renegade. You've been running renegade for so long, it's normal to you. And a lot of you all, you run your households like that. You run a renegade household.
Mm.
And you cannot differentiate between that setting and the outside setting, or AKA the real world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
the chickens have come home to roost. That's how we can conclude this. I don't know Tyre Nichols, but I can imagine.
You don't know Tyre, but you can imagine. You don't know this man, but you can imagine. Or let's put it this way, the way that I see it, since we're all doing our own interpretations and stuff. I don't know him, but I can label him. I don't know him, but I can automatically demonize him. I don't know him, but I can foresee the future. Ooh, girl, I was gonna say something. So once again, I hope you bring forth the facts to support and to substantiate your claims about Tyre Nichols and why he deserved a brutal beating like that. Let's continue, because girl,
I believe the police when they said he was out there running reckless. He has one of the he had one of them race cars, the Dodge Charger, the Dodge Challenger, and the Infinity in that motherfucking Mustang. Those are the four cars that these 20 to 35-year-olds use commonly to race up and down the street all over the city. They do this all the time.
But then again, when we look at the CNN article that includes analysts and different type of individuals who are specialized to look at things and to give proper analysis, they said that the individuals that were the officers involved could not substantiate the claim that he was driving reckless. They cannot prove that he was driving reckless. So just like you are assuming, and when you assume, you do what? You are assuming that because Tyre was driving one of 4 racing cars, which, yes, a lot of black men do drive those cars, but it's not just black men. There are white men who drive those cars as well. Hello? Who like them big ass engines and vroom, 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 and how fast shit go. So you saying, okay, so from what you're saying that the police used this force because they caught him, quote, reckless driving, end quote, and that the car that he was driving was the prime reason for him being stopped. Okay, so he got stopped. Why do you have to be stopped by 4-5 motherfucking police officers and be pepper sprayed and tased and beaten when, again, he was shown? Because I ended up looking at the video, even though I didn't want to. For the context and the nuance of this conversation and this commentary, I had to do that. That there was nothing that he did to garner that level of brutality. He was even shown complying, saying, I'm on the ground. Okay, what are you doing? I don't even think they told him why they asked him to get the fuck out the car.
They taunt the police. They provoke the police. They run away from the police. This is what they do all the time. I've seen the videos. And I can imagine Tyre Nichols, he's been out there riding reckless all over the city, taunting
Mm.
the police many,
Mm.
many, 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 many times before.
So does he have a police record? Do you have police records to substantiate that? Do you have police reports that could substantiate that Tyre was driving all over the goddamn city on some GTA shit, just doing all type of asinine destructive stuff? Can you provide that for us, ma'am?
And that particular day, they had had enough of him, and things escalated to what it transpired to.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And a lot of people pretend like they didn't see him fighting the police. I saw it.
You did.
A lot of people pretend like they didn't see him being combative with the police. I saw it.
You did.
A lot of people pretend like they didn't see him talking back and arguing with the police. I heard it.
Okay, you
A
did.
lot of people pretend like they didn't see him running away from the police. I saw him.
Mm-hmm. With them
And it's
glasses on.
amazing how all of us can look at the same video and so many people see different things. It's
Mm-hmm.
no different from all of us reading the Bible and so many people coming away with different perspectives and
Mm-hmm.
interpretations of what we read.
Mm-hmm.
You know why? People want to see and comprehend and interpret their own thing to suit their own agenda. That's
Ma-
why.
ma'am, you are older than me. I am 31 years old. I don't know your age, and I ain't gonna ask you because they say it's disrespectful to ask a black woman or just a woman in general how old she is. But I'm going to assume, since we're assuming here, that you're older than me. Police brutality has been a historical thing that black people and brown people and people of color have dealt with for decades, ma'am. That's where the anger is coming from. That there is a continuation of police brutality. I said police brutality. This is objective, factual information that has been happening. Yes, you use the example of the Bible and the interpretations, but there is still always some universal gray area of understanding, and the universal gray area of understanding that black people understand, and that even people who are part of the law enforcement, who are analysts, were able to look at, was the fact that what happened to Tyre was uncalled for, and that everybody is innocent until proven guilty in the court of law by their fucking peers. The problem and the issue is that we see a lot of black bodies not even having the opportunity to have that happen because these police officers are acting like judge, jury, and the fucking executioner. That's the goddamn problem, ma'am. Okay? But continue with what you're saying.
And we play all these different kind of games
Mm-hmm.
and pretend like we didn't read what we read, we didn't see what we saw,
Mm-hmm.
and we know what it is.
Mm.
And I saw the video, and I saw so many different videos.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the video footage was very heavily edited. I don't know why
Hmm.
we were playing those games. Either
What about the video that was shown on the utility pole? That was 31 minutes. I mean, the body cams just show what happened up close. Meanwhile, this utility pole got 31 fucking minutes. I think it's 21 and 31. They were able, that was the longest video that showcased what the fuck happened, ma'am. And if these videos are heavily edited, who are editing the video? It ain't black people editing the video. Is this some sort of voodoo shit that I don't know about, girl? To where they can just motherfucking light a candle and say some shit and throw some powder in the air, girl, and the videos are automatically edited and blurred and shit? Or, if it is edited, wouldn't it be edited by the police department? And if what you're saying is true about it being edited, and it is being edited by the police department, wouldn't that be further criminalization for them because they're tampering with evidence? Okay, ma'am, continue.
We're going to be transparent or we're not.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the videos that I saw, a lot of stuff was blurred out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a whole lot of audio being muted.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of games getting played on those videos. And I'm like this. Either we're going to be totally transparent or we're not. It's a lot of games getting played with that video.
Really?
And a lot of the videos, I really didn't see a whole lot. It was a whole lot of talking going on. And all of this and all of that. But from what I did see on the videos, Tyre holds some responsibility for what happened just as much as the police. The police and Tyre both hold some responsibility.
Really?
The chickens have come home to roost.
Hey, Queen
when you don't raise your children to obey authority and they are allowed to do whatever they want to do, at some point, they're going to deal with the consequences.
When we look again at the information given by CNN, which is a very reputable network when it comes down to information, ma'am, and even the video that the same video you watched, he was complying because he was on the ground. He was trying to understand what was going on and that they were doing too much. Imagine, if you will, since we're assuming, let's go down the imaginary. Let's put on our thinking caps here and imaginary caps. Imagine you being told, or better yet, yelled at to get the fuck out the car while you have people with guns coming at you, then dragging you out the car, not telling you what's going on, because ain't they supposed to tell you why they did this? Why they pulled you over? Why they want you to get out the car? Nobody did that. There was nothing but direct insults hurled at this individual. 5 police officers, 1 man. He was already handcuffed. He was already slammed to the ground. He was maced. He was tased and then was beaten with nightsticks. Where in the video did you see Tyre turn into the fucking Hulk and started uppercutting, Bruce Lee cross-kicking, doing all type of ong bak shit to the police officers? Once again, these individuals in authority were using their authority in a destructive way. So how did Tyre bring that level of brutality? If he did something that was wrong, okay then, he needs to be held accountable for what he did that was wrong. But the police officers can't even substantiate what he did that was wrong, ma'am. But you can see it, so hopefully you will give us the reason why. Please tell us. Please hit us with something, ma'am.
And that's what happened with Tyre on that day, on that video. That's what happened. The chickens came home to roost. And on the other side of the aisle, as it relates to the 5 police, okay, the chickens came home to roost. And some would argue they were not qualified to begin with, and they have gotten away with, skirting through procedures and policies all along. Well, that's very common. Let's not play these games. A lot of these people that work for city government, it's based on who you know. It's not based on what you know a lot of times. For a long time, I have put in application after application, resume after resume, and I get tired of playing those games after 10, 15 years of that. And then I see all of these people who are clearly incompetent, clearly unprofessional, clearly dumbfounded as it relates to their job duties. They just get in, without even trying, based on who they know. And then a lot of them, how many times have we seen them get in these positions and they get in trouble because they don't follow protocol, because they do what they want to do, and they have someone that runs defense for them and cover things up and make a lot of things go away. We played that game so many times in the city. And that's the get down. For a long time, that's been the get down. And, you know, it's only because, let's be honest, it's only because a lot of people were relentless and applied a lot of pressure and went outside of the city to get a lot of support and place a lot of attention on this situation. Otherwise, it would have been like a whole lot of other situations swept under the rug and forgotten about.
So why do you have an issue, if I'm hearing you correctly? Why do you have an issue with black people being upset about what happened to Tyree? If you're saying on the other side with the police officers that this is a common thing. So what you're saying is that it's common for police officers to basically not be trained to help the public, but to basically police the public, which means have fear and put the people in fucking fear. And if it wasn't for movements like Black Lives Matter, if it wasn't for people bringing awareness to this shit, that once again, Tyree would have been swept under the rug. The gag is that when we call these institutions out who are supposed to be following these certain protocols and, like you said, find loopholes to do what the fuck they want to do, when they're called out, they're protected. And we just read again earlier in the commentary, ma'am, from CNN, that the 5 officers have been fired and have been charged with second-degree murder amongst other charges. But then when it comes down to white police officers, girl, they're the ones that get away a lot of the time. They are the ones, like you said, who is not what you know is who you know, that is able to absolve certain things for them so that they don't have to be accountable. And all that the people are asking is for the police to be held accountable for what, not only what they've done today, but what they have done for so long. Because like you just mentioned, ma'am, it's a common thing for them to do that. And that is the fucking issue. Because police are public servants. They serve the public. But now black people are just very aware of which public the police serve. And it's clearly not us.
And it seems like it was a lot of effort to make it go away. But because a lot of people cried loud about it and kept beating on the door, and they would not stop, trying to get people's attention and say, hey, look at this. It was no way to shut it down and cover it up and make it go away. The chickens came home to roost. And that's one of the reasons why I believe it was taking so long for the video footage to be shown to the public. And they knew the response from the public when they saw this video. And last night, that's exactly what happened. So a lot of these people, they really are not outraged, but they say they're demanding justice. Okay, the police have already been fired. The police have already been arrested. The police have already been charged. Okay, what more do you want?
We want for them to stop doing the bullshit. That's what we want, ma'am. We want to stop further police brutality happening to black bodies, ma'am, especially when people can't substantiate what the fuck they're talking about. Again, these police officers could not even prove why they pulled him the hell over, and they said, oh, he was driving recklessly, but was not able to prove that. That is the issue and the problem. The issue and the problem that all this shit continues to be swept under the rug. It's just that Tyre was an unfortunate casualty in the bullshit that's been happening for so long in reference to the police departments of America. That's the issue. The fact that you up here saying that black people outrage is fake shares the same sentiments when white people say, well, blue lives matter. Well, here's the gag. When it comes down to blue lives, you can take that shit off. It's a fucking uniform. You can go back to being a regular civilian. But for black people, they can't take their fucking skin color off, ma'am. That is the issue. We're calling for something different. And once again, if you've done your research, ma'am, you would understand that this has been going on for decades and low-key centuries. And it's so crazy how these black police officers were fired so quickly, were charged so quickly, were all these reprimanding and all this shit was done so quickly, ma'am. But when it came down to white police officers in the past, girl, and unfortunately in the future, girl, all of a sudden it's slow to reconciliation. It's slower for them to get charged. They end up getting, a slap on the wrist. They end up getting, paid administrative leave. I'm gonna try to remain calm too, girl, because the reads that's running through my mind, girl, right now, I might save it toward the end, ma'am, because I'm still waiting for you to prove something.
What more do you want from them? And then you have all of these people finding the police's address, putting their address online all over social media, and placing not only the police, but their families in harm's way. Some of these police, they may have their grandmama staying with them in the same household. They may have little small children in the household. What if some of these people come driving by there that's angry, and or they could be influenced by these other people that pretend to be outraged and want justice? What if they come by those people's house and just spray their whole house, and little children get hurt?
What about the family of Tyre that is hurt to see that their son is no longer there? Yeah, justice has been served. Or at least we have, because they still have to be tried in court to even see that. So even the charges against them may not even fucking stick. We have to even see what that looks like. Okay, we're putting the cart before the horse here, ma'am. Okay, but what about their families? And no tea, no shade, just facts. You can't be mad at people. It's not right, but in a sense, I can understand if they want to get street justice. Because the justice system is failing. And yeah, them releasing and doxing these people, I'm not saying it's right, but again, I can understand. Because once again, ma'am, these people a lot of times get off. They get to live their life regularly after doing something like that, as opposed to being reprimanded by the same system that they say they serve and they protect. So now you want to talk about the police officers' safety and their families' safety. But meanwhile, these police officers, so you just said, so it's okay for Tyre to be held accountable for his actions, and that he called for this ass whooping that he got, but yet saying that the police officers don't require that same level of ass whooping, ma'am, in a different way? They misused their power. Why are we getting upset when other people want to misuse their power against them? Do unto others as you want them to do unto you. You can't sit up here and abuse people and abuse people and abuse people and expect them to not abuse your ass back after a while. especially when they're telling you what the issue and the problem is, and it's continuously being ignored and swept under the rug because you just came out of your mouth with these Mary Moo Cow ass glasses on, ma'am, that police officers sweep the shit under the rug. And if it wasn't for people speaking about this, that Tyre would have been another fucking cold case to go unsolved. I'ma try my best because I ain't even smoke. I told you I ain't smoked weed 3-4 days, baby. I'm a little irritable right now, and I'm trying to compose myself too. Y'all pray for me, cause we only motherfucking we are like 10-15 minutes into this damn video, and this video almost an hour long, girl. It's gonna be a pretty lengthy live. Y'all already know how BubzDaGawd get down. So continue with your observations, Miss Caboom.
Or their grandmama get hurt, you know. And now you have not only placed these policemen in harm's way, but their families. Okay, their wives, they may have wives that have jobs, and then you got people that may, want to do them harm or put their jobs in jeopardy, or put the children's school in jeopardy. And go on and on and on with this. And I can imagine these policemen, they're gonna have to move their families. They're gonna have to probably go out of town. But
well, just like you said, Tyre should have been accountable for his actions. Well, maybe they should have been accountable for theirs, especially in the social climate that police officers know that they're dealing with in today's world. Maybe they should handle things differently. But I don't know. Maybe because they was black, they was like, well, black people kill black people, so it shouldn't be a problem. So I don't know if that happened, girl. But the the justice system had no problem already arresting these police officers, charging these police officers. Had no problem with that, girl. None. Wasn't no paid administrative leave. Wasn't no slap on the wrist. Wasn't no all that type of shit, girl. None. So I want you to, once again, context and nuance is important. A lot of people don't have that. Okay, y'all.
The people that pretend to be so outraged, a lot of them are not outraged. If it's about getting justice for Tyre, let's be honest, a lot of these people don't give a damn about Tyre. They just want an excuse to steal. And last night...
Okay, yeah. Father... Oh, Jesus. Okay. I'm going to try to wait till at least the end of the commentary, girl, because I want to give Miss Caboom a chance. I want to give Miss Caboom a fucking chance at this.
They went and shut down the bridge. I don't know why they always go to that bridge. I mean, you're not exercising your power. Okay, yeah, you may shut down the bridge and cause a little inconvenience. The 18-wheeler trucks can't get through to deliver goods and services to different businesses. But guess what? Those are the goods and services that your stupid ass need and use yourself and your family members and friends.
Ma'am, again, your ass don't understand. Take them fucking glasses off and look, okay? These people are fed the fuck up. They're fed up. No one is listening and no one gives a fuck. So people are gonna do what the fuck they gotta do to get people's goddamn attention. It's the fact that now America has to deal with the issue that they have been trying to sweep under the rug for so goddamn long. And that's why it's becoming more violent and more aggressive on black people's part. Because once again, ma'am, black people, historically speaking, have had dogs sicked on them. German shepherds. Water hoses turned on them, punched, stabbed, kicked, spat on for so long, and black people just took it on the brunt. Even peace has an expiration date. And when you keep fucking with people and fucking with people and fucking with people and fucking with people, eventually people are going to fuck with you back. And this is what the fuck is happening. And yet, black people have still not been violent towards white people like they have towards us. Black people still haven't been violent towards police officers like they've been to us. And hoes getting mad because we inconveniencing them. Well, excuse me, bitch. My whole life been inconvenience, bitch. Y'all can deal with a few hours of inconvenience. Y'all gonna go on with your lives any goddamn way. Meanwhile, black people collectively have to deal with the traumatic response of what is happening to them. Because, like I said in my live early on Instagram, Tyre could have been me. And hell, no tea, no shade, but all facts. Tyre can be your ass too, Miss Carmen. God forbid your ass be in a situation, girl. Are you going to come back to the black community and ask for black people to share in your plight about what you've been through after you done got up here with these goddamn dollar store ass, Dollar Tree ass, Dollar Family ass, Family Dollar ass glasses on, girl? Trying to give us your synopsis on how you're making sense when you're not? Girl, what in the Candace always is going on?
Let me tell you something. These so-called activists, they are not real activists. They are agitators. Activists and agitators are two different things.
Okay, break it down.
They are nothing like the real OG civil rights activists. The real OG civil rights activists, they marched and protested until they got results. They had a clear...
What results they get, ma'am? Certain laws in place, girl, that these motherfuckers still find loopholes to get over on? Is that what it is? And look at what the fuck they had to deal with. The OGs. Again, dogs sicked on them. Water hoses poured on them, girl, and they still chose goddamn peace. But like I said, peace has a time limit. And on top of that, no tea, no shade, all facts, girl. We not our ancestors. We are grateful for what the hell they've been through, girl, but the dream and the hope of the slave has to manifest, girl. And if that means that it's not just going to be black blood that's shed, girl, then maybe that's going to have to be the case. Because ain't nobody listening to black people. The fact that we still have to march. The fact that we still have to do protests, girl, proves that ain't nobody fucking listening. So maybe we should take a page out of our oppressor's book, girl. Yes. Two wrongs don't make a right, girl. But a negative times a negative equals what, y'all?
Designated set of agendas that they wanted to have fulfilled. These so-called new activists of this current generation, they are just scattered and just all over the place and just full of rhetoric. Okay, what I heard yesterday and last night, let me tell you, it was a bunch of foolishness.
What you hear?
I was so embarrassed. If they're not embarrassed, I'm embarrassed for them.
Tell us
Let
what
me
happened.
tell you something. All eyes are on Memphis. We have all these different national news outlets. They are interviewing these people. And the foolishness that's coming out of their mouth. Number one, you sound so ghetto. You look so ghetto. And you are ghetto. Okay. And a lot of them don't even know how to spell activists.
But what does that have to do with them sharing or expressing how their quality of life is being attacked? Why? Because they can't speak eloquently? Because they don't have an extensive vernacular? I do, and I'm still fucking pissed off just as much as they are. Ma'am. Girl, I'm trying not to read. I'm trying not to read. Girl, I'm trying not to read because you playing in our face, Miss Caboom. Again, I brought forth facts, girl. Tangible facts, girl. Okay? This current generation is angry. They're tired. They're not gonna go through the same shit that they motherfucking father, grandfather, great-grandfather went through. Hell no. This generation of black people, low-key but high-key, are angry and violent. And the real gag is, what would happen once Black America at large, because there is some sort of accountability we have to take as blackness as far as us destroying ourselves. But what if we were to transmute that energy, girl, and instead of taking that destructive energy and pouring it inwardly, what would happen if we were to redirect that towards the oppressors? Because once again, black people are stealing shit and yes, looting and all this shit, girl, out of goddamn companies that is not theirs, does not support them. They have insurance and they would get all their shit back. Y'all over here arguing about motherfuckers stealing TVs and all this type of shit, girl, which can be replaced. Meanwhile, y'all not giving that same smoke to the motherfuckers who took a life that cannot be replaced. Make it make fucking sense.
You ask them, what is an activist? They don't know. I'm pretty sure they would not know. They don't know how to spell marching and protesting. They don't know what they're doing. It's just a bunch of niggas that's chasing clout and a cash app. Okay. And they always want to be seen on front of that camera. They feel like running over there to that bridge, they have accomplished something. We shut down the bridge. Yeah, you shut down the bridge. But guess what? You're not going to stay there all night. And they didn't stay there all night. The original real activists, let me tell you, they marched for weeks and months at a time. A lot of them probably didn't even get any
comments.
sleep.
I'm trying not to put it up now. I might do it at the end.
These current so-called activists are, most of them look like they probably drug addicts. They got cigarette habits. They can't stay on that bridge all night. They're not gonna last. And they did not last.
Well, maybe the reason why it didn't last is because they saw what happened in the past, and yes, they've had more, once again, longevity and understanding. Because the black community, a lot of us is broken, so it's very hard for us to come together in solidarity. We only do that when somebody is outside of us trying to hurt us, no shade. But at the same time, man, this is a new generation of motherfuckers who ain't finna sit out here all night for a bunch of motherfuckers to not get the point. Bitch, we gonna come through, we gonna do what we gotta do, and we gonna go, girl. Because when we leave, when y'all look at the shit tomorrow, girl, you'll see the broken windows, you see shit burnt down, girl, then you will understand. So I hope you prove or give some solutions on what these so-called activists should do. Are you saying for them to stay up there all night? And on top of that, why don't you lead by example? Why don't you come out here with these A Bug's Life ass glasses on, ma'am? These Pixar production ass glasses, ma'am. And show us how it's done, since you are so connected to the OG roots of activism. Why don't you show us, man? Why don't you lead by example? Why don't you do that? Because they out there. Your ass ain't. So if we doing shit wrong, please come educate us on how to do it right.
They didn't even last a couple of hours. They had to leave and go get them some marijuana or whatever other drug of choice.
I'm gonna read y'all comments.
And some crab legs and some chicken wings.
But please voice y'all opinions, y'all. I'm gonna get to y'all comments. I want y'all to say how y'all feel, and we gonna get to it, girl. And if she keep playing in my face, I might put it up in the middle. Cause Miss Carmen Caboom ain't bringing no facts. She ain't bringing nothing, girl. She bringing a bunch of, you talking about rhetoric, girl. You bringing rhetoric. You can't even back up what you saying. Meanwhile, the people who are protesting, the people who are in the streets, the people who are online talking about it, girl, are actually bringing forth the factual evidence, and that'd be the gag. Black people have been bringing forth evidence for so long, but because they're black, girl, it doesn't stand the test of time. Baby, y'all talking about this generation, girl. Just imagine the Corisha babies, girl, generation. The generation of kids that was born in 2020 going forward, girl, they about to really be off the chain. They gonna be the ones to really set it off, girl, because they coming into the earth, girl, already not on the bullshit. You got pictures of babies now that just came out the cooch, looking at the camera like, I'm tired of y'all bullshit, bitch. I'm back here again, Lord. Come on now. That's probably why babies cry, because they got to come back in the world and deal with individuals like Carmen Caboom, girl, who are giving this very much white alternate fact, motherfucking Candace Owens ass bullshit.
They're not built to be activists. They're not. And then a lot of them had to leave and go steal. And there was a whole lot of different stores I saw listed on this person's Facebook page where they targeted and they went in there stealing. What does that have to do with getting justice for Tyre?
Taken away from the power structure, girl, that allowed it to happen? The fuck? The fuck? And just like Ron said, there were riots and destruction back during the civil rights movement too. So what is she talking about? Does she think she is untouchable when it pertains to police because she thinks she's not ghetto? And if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong, but no factual evidence has come up to substantiate her claim, but I've seen videos, like somebody shared videos of motherfucking Tyre. Tyre ass was a skater, boy. She said, "See you later, boy." He was a skater. So he had the vernacular. Cause a lot of black skaters, girl, know how to. A lot of black people call them white because they skating, because black people don't do skateboarding, girl, but he did. Ron says Philando Castile, Sandra Bland, and others were outstanding pillars of the community, and they lost their lives by police violence. So what does she mean, people acting ghetto? All the other, I swear, y'all other comments, cause baby, low key fur. I'm gonna put your comments up, cause it's kind of what it's giving. I'm trying to once again give her ass a chance. Okay, let's continue.
Huh? And then they have this list of demands. I don't even want to go down the list. I can't even remember all of the foolishness. But I put it on my community page on my YouTube channel if you're interested in looking at that foolishness.
Well, let's do that right now, actually. Let me go to her goddamn shit, girl. Cause I wanna make sure we get into what the fuck you saying, Miss Mams. Okay? Let's go to her YouTube community page. Let's go to community page. Let me stop, girl, because I'll be talking all type of things too, girl. Let's see. Okay. Where's that? Where's this list of demands, girl? I'm trying to see this list of demands, ma'am. Okay. So this is, I gotta believe this is what she's talking about, because this pops up and says, let me find it, girl. I think this was it here, because I'm scrolling down to make sure, girl. I think this is it. Hold on 1 second, y'all. List of demands, okay? Now, this is a list of demands by the family, okay? Spicy, blame Harold. Harold was the one that told me about her ass. He said there's a YouTuber, a black YouTuber. I said, who is this? Because, baby, I'm coming for black YouTubers next, girl. Not just white people, but black people who be on this bullshit. So Harold sent me that. Harold said, what I'm gathering from her commentary up until this point, she's pretty much profiling Tyre and everybody who looks like him. Exactly. But here it is. The list of demands, and this is once again by the family. There are, those demands of the family and the community. Okay, so let's read this, shall we? Demands of the family. Number 1, release the body cam footage. Number 2, charge the officers. Number 3, name all officers and public personnel that were on the scene. And 4, release the officers' files. Okay. Now the demands of the community. Number 1, pass the data transparency ordinance. 2, end the use of pretextual traffic stops. Okay. Number 3, end the use of unmarked cars and plainclothes officers. Number 4, dissolve the Scorpion, OCU, and MGU. End the use of task force. And number 5, remove police from traffic enforcement entirely. So these are a bunch of ghetto ass motherfuckers, according to goddamn Miss Carmen Caboom. Ooh, girl, Jesus help me, Lord. Those who list demands, I feel like those demands are are true. And let's not be real. During the 60s and 70s, black people had demands of police as well, ma'am. This is just an updated version of it, ma'am. Like I don't fuck. Does it have to take someone close to you to deal with police brutality in order for your ass to understand? Is it going to have to take you in particular to deal with police brutality so that you can understand what the fuck these other individuals are saying, ma'am? What the fuck? You haven't proven anything. All you've done was just do the same thing that white America does to black America, girl, which is to have these preconceived notions that are ignorant as fuck. Again, if the police were doing their job, Tyre would still be alive right now. And once again, going into the court of law to be judged by his fucking peers. Harold said, bitch, don't blame me. I was told by somebody on Twitter. Okay.
Okay, the demands that they have, number one, you don't have any power.
Ooh.
How can you demand anything?
Ooh.
And then the demands that they have.
Well, I mean, some of the demands were, for at least for the family, was released. Let's look at it again, girl. Can I find it again, bitch? Is it still here? You found it again, girl. Let's read the demands, because I feel like some of the demands fucking came out, girl. Release the body cam footage. That came out with them having no power. Number 2, charge the officers. That happened. They ain't got no power. Name all officers and public personnel that were on the scene. I don't know if that was released. You're saying people are being doxxed, so I guess that happened. I guess the power is there. And number 4, release the officers' files. Going back to number 3, being doxxed and stuff. So I feel like there is some power there, ma'am, because the shit came out. Ma'am. And they had power because they had the public backing them up. Because when all motherfuckers or a lot of motherfuckers start bringing light to the situation, girl, somebody got to do something about it, girl. You can't sweep it under the rug when a lot of motherfuckers see it. And that's the beauty of social media. That's the beauty of this era. Anything that happens can be shared in a matter of seconds. So there's more accountability, and on top of that, there's more of a burden of proof on the police side to provide or to prove why that excessive force was necessary. And what black people are trying to get white people and black people like you to understand is that that same type of violence, that same type of low vibrational energy and response to black bodies when it comes to law enforcement has been happening historically. Are you forgetting that? Are you high off some ganja, bitch? Oh, I didn't mean to say bitch. I'm sorry. Okay.
It's not even logical. Okay, basically they want to do away with all the police and the different special units that the police have. Okay, if we do away with the police, who's gonna control and handle the heathens?
They're not saying to do it with the police. What they're saying is that the police need to be reformed because the way that they're handling it has not been productive in the society. Police are going to have to work with the community. And if they actually listen to the people and once again find reconciliation, there's a quote that says, flip on my phone, actually. So I want to say it verbatim, girl. Victory creates enemies. Reconciliation creates unity. All we asking is for the police officers to be accountable for what they did in this context. Whatever's happening in blackness is an in-house issue that us as black people have to deal with. White America ain't gonna be able to help us with that. And if so, it's only resources to provide the institutions for us to create that will be able to help rectify, to remedy, and to strengthen a healthier version of blackness. But this way that they're doing it, having no regard for human life in that way, when it's uncalled for, is the motherfucking problem. Okay?
Huh? Can you imagine? If we just let the heathens do what they want to do and we just police ourselves? Can you imagine how that would look and how that would be? My God. My God, you think they bad now? Can you have any type of authority to deal with them to the capacity that they are dealing with them, and they just run wild? Can you imagine? And then, huh, I was so embarrassed for these heathens that got on the news and said something about, we want some reparations. We want some reparations. Y'all need to cut the check. Cut the check. We want some justice by any means necessary. Okay, what does reparations have to do with Tyre Nichols in this situation?
Because, girl, if we had the resources, first of all, let's get all the way into it, girl, because now I'm up. Fuck it. This is something that was promised to us, that was never given to us, and every other ethnic group has gotten their comeuppance except us. So hell yeah, run us our shit. But see, if they run us our shit, the economy gonna go to motherfucking trash, girl, because black people, America wouldn't be what the fuck it was if it wasn't for black people, and this is factual evidence. Have you done your research, ma'am? Or did you get the fuck up here and just start talking out the side of your goddamn neck, or start talking through them glasses, girl? If black people had the resources to have a better fucking life, they wouldn't act the way that they're fucking acting, because a lot of times they're acting that way out of murder fucking survival. See, this is why context and nuance is important, and the social media also shows how ignorant some of our own goddamn people is. Because you talking all this shit, but you ain't offering no solution to the problem. A reasonable, realistic solution to the shit. So hell yeah, white people need to cut the motherfucking check. The fuck? Are you kidding me? When white people want their goddamn money, girl, they'll snatch it from your shit, girl. Put your ass in the negative, girl, but when it's time for me to get my money, girl, now all of a sudden we can't do that. Okay, well, girl, there's other means. I mean, we can have a conversation about it. If you don't want to give us the money, girl, we can talk about other things, girl. There is a way around the bullshit. Y'all not finna sit up here and act like there's no resolve for this shit. Okay then, girl, you might. Okay, girl, when Spirit and Karma come into play, girl, don't be trying to cut the check then, girl. When spirituality, which is hitting America now, the West, once that shit start really kicking in, girl, because this is just the beginning, girl. This whole social climate that we're in social media era, girl, where we have the ability to educate ourselves at the drop of a dime, to be able to connect with each other at the drop of a dime, and the fact that we're still playing pussy, popping, and whole stroll ass games, girl. When the universe come in, bitch, and start rectifying shit for real and don't give a fuck who you is, girl, don't cut the check then, girl, because you had a chance to do it, bitch. And if you cut the check then, girl, you still gonna get this spiritual ass whooping. The fuck?
Do you know how ignorant you sound? The nigga probably didn't even know how to spell reparations. Okay.
You don't even know the nigga. You don't even know the nigga. And see, I'm trying to really keep it cute on your time, because you're a black woman, and I'm trying to give you respect. But see, you in our motherfucking face playing some bullshit. That's what you're doing, ma'am. Now, in a minute, I'm gonna take my motherfucking glasses off. Breathe it out. Breathe it out.
I'm tired of these dusty niggas. Even if they ain't tired of themselves, I'm so tired of them.
Don't trust them niggas over there.
I'm so tired of them. They have all these high standards, these high standards and expectations for the police. Oh, the police ain't supposed to do this. The police ain't supposed to just beat up on these people, and they supposed to carry okay, you know how the police supposed to carry themselves, but the niggas, you don't have these same standards for the niggas. The niggas know right from wrong, but they do what they want to do. But you got high standards and expectations for the police. The police, they got to walk a fine, straight line. But the niggas can do what they want to do. The niggas are out here killing every fucking day. And
now, I will say this. Again, there is some accountability within blackness that we need to deal with. But once we end up talking to these people, see, you ain't going to talk to these people. You ain't gonna speak to these people. Once again, lady you was talking to, you ain't even try to get to know more about her. You just motherfucking profiled her ass. Just like these police officers did. To understand why these things are happening. And if you pay attention, It's because their quality of life, they have to survive, and this is what they're being taught. And let's really get into it, ma'am. You talking about niggas killing and stuff like that. There is music out here that's being created that glorifies murder of black people killing black people. And who funds them? It ain't the niggas. Who is giving the okay for these to be played on airwaves when it comes to black people? It ain't the niggas. It's not. It's another different race, ma'am, that continues to allow this music to be perpetuated, to continue this lower vibrational frequency that a lot of our black brothers and sisters are into. And instead of employing empathy for your people and trying to understand your people and love on your people, you put on these goddamn Meyer Sears ass glasses. You put on these Marilyn Monroe ass glasses and look down your motherfucking nigga nose at niggas for how they acting. And just like Ron said, Philando Castile, Sandra Bland, you had other individuals who were doing the right thing, who were educated, who knew who they were, and knew their rights. But that shit didn't matter. You know why? Because they was still a nigga. And when you have been treated like a nigga for so long outside of you, you start to believe the lie. And the nigga starts acting like a nigga. And then you get up here and you spew your rhetoric. Because, girl, let's define rhetoric real quick. Let's define that, girl. With my ghetto ass rhetoric. Define. The art of effective or persuasive speaking or writing, especially the use of figures of speech and other compositional techniques. Language designed to have a persuasive or impressive effect on its audience, but often regarded as lacking in sincerity or meaningful content. But once again, how can it be rhetoric when there is information to back up what they're saying? Wouldn't rhetoric have to be used in a way to persuade people about something that you can't factually prove, but you're just so good at it, girl? So once again, you have black people who are speaking with passion and who show the fuck up with the goddamn receipts, the factual, objective receipts. When we talk about the court of law, girl, they tell you that you have to prove your case beyond a reasonable doubt, girl. And black people have done that. This shit goes deeper than what the fuck your mind is on, because you looking at the symptoms and looking at the basic shit. You talking about Stevie Wonder. Meanwhile, you look like his great-great-granddaughter with these sunglasses on, as if though you can motherfucking see with 20/20 vision. When all you seeing is darkness.
There's crickets. There's fucking silence from these same people that's so outraged and want justice.
I just explained it to you. I just explained it to you.
Why you niggas don't be out there marching in front of these niggas' house? Huh. And finding out they address and posting it on Facebook.
Why don't you do it too?
With this same energy that you're doing these 5 policemen.
Why don't you do it then? Why don't you go ahead and do it? Lead by
These
example.
niggas are out here killing every day with their cars and with these guns. And you same niggas that pretend like you so outraged. You so mad. You so sick of what you saw on the video. You can't believe it. You don't say nothing when these garbage ass niggas are running around the city shooting and killing and carjacking every fucking day. And a lot of these niggas, you try to downplay the reckless driving and you pretend like you don't know what the reckless driving is. Oh, is that 5 minutes? I heard a lot of y'all rhetoric. Is that 5 minutes over the speed limit? Oh, you playing real dumb. Everybody know what reckless driving is.
They just said, ma'am, on CNN, girl. So is CNN lying? Is they lying, girl? Due to the analysts who are professionals, who went to school, who are not ghetto, according to you, not ghetto niggas, who are looking at the evidence and looking at what was being shown collectively, in an unbiased way because their job has taught them to be objective. To where these police officers could not substantiate or prove that he was driving recklessly. And let's say he was driving recklessly. Do you believe that him driving recklessly caused for him to receive the level of brutality that he fucking received? Girl, I don't have my weed. Lord, help me. Help me. Because a whole bunch of word vomit finna come up, and I don't want to do that. And it's going to be a shame because I feel like once I do, girl, that's when the view is going to come in. And I'm not trying to do this shit for clout. I'm trying to do this shit to correct. Because what the fuck people not finna do is get up on this bitch and talk like they know shit. You talking about, well, everybody, people just act like no one person knows everything. You're right, no one person knows everything, but some motherfuckers educate themselves more than others. Let me just put y'all comments up. Fuck it. Let me put y'all comments up. She said she is annoying. What a bed wench. We got a whole hour of her. We gonna get more than an hour. My ass gonna break it down. Okay? I swear, if she weren't cammed down, you'd think this was a white woman talking. Not Auntie Ruckus. Don't trust them niggas over there. Right, Ron. It's the revisionist history for me. Please don't bring up. I'm gonna bring her ass up. Police don't like skaters. This lady reminds me of the voice over in the Charlie Brown cartoon. Fix the system by reformation. She gotta be grifting for white dollars. I mean, damn. See how she's profiling him? Okay. What planet does she live on? Because there's definitely outrage when other black terrorize a whole community of people. Is she serious? I don't know what this means. Cynthia G is right. Stop giving birth to black males. What? Rest in your femininity, black women. No more cape and pandering for black man. Is you in the chat? Is this you, Miss Carmen Caboom, under some full account? Because whoever this is, niggas, Afro. Okay, girl, I'm gonna let the comments handle your ass. Y'all get them in the comments. I ain't got time. Y'all go back and forth.
And then a lot of them try to minimize it. Oh, that's just a misdemeanor. No. It's not just a misdemeanor.
His sexual preference was white girls. Let them protest while we paint our nails and relax. But he's still black. And what the fuck happened is that your black son or any motherfucking black person you know that's close to your ass while you getting your nails done, girl, will end up getting fucked up too. So I don't understand what the problem is. What does his sexual preference have to do with him? Okay, I'm gonna let the comments get you, girl.
A car can be used as a weapon of mass destruction, and it has been, and it is being used as a weapon of mass destruction every fucking day. It's a whole lot of people, hundreds of people, as a matter of fact, just last year, 2022, in this one city that got killed. And when you get killed, you're not coming back. They have destroyed, they have ruined a whole lot of people's lives with a fucking car. So please don't play these games and pretend.
You say you're not African? Okay, then girl, then why are you speaking on a situation that you're not a part of? I don't understand that.
Oh, it's just a car. They just having fun.
We're speaking about the African American experience.
These are motherfuckers that are terrorists. They are terrorists. They are demons. They are terrorizing the streets and making it very unsafe for people to even go from point A to point B, to doctor's office, doctor appointments, and to the grocery store, to jobs, or right across the street. Some of these people have been killed just standing in the street waiting on the bus. And these reckless motherfuckers driving 100 miles per hour plus have killed them. Kids 12 to 14 years old just a few months ago, 2 or 3 months ago. Look at the news for yourself. I'm not telling you a lie. I'm not making anything up. Kids walking across the street coming from school are dead because of these reckless motherfucking niggers, okay?
Oh my lord.
They're dead. They're not coming back. They're never gonna go to school again because of these motherfuckers in these cars. Forgive me, Lord, for cussing, okay? So let's not play these games and downplay it. Oh, it's just a misdemeanor. The police ought to not bother them. They just having fun. Their fun is other people's terror. Okay, they are deleting people's lives with their fun. This is sick. These niggas are sick. Do you hear me? They are sick and they're satanic and they playing all these fucking games with other people's lives
Harold.
and putting other people's lives in danger. And pretending like, oh, they not really doing nothing wrong. The police are not, they are not bother them. And just let them do whatever the fuck they want to do, right? We got bigger crimes to deal with. What about murder, bitch? See, I'm getting myself upset. Forgive me, Lord, for cussing. I'm starting to cuss because this is a profane matter. When I hear these stupid ass niggas talking about and saying things like, oh, the police they don't need to be bothering these guys as with reckless driving. They need to be focused on the murder.
All we're saying is that if the police are doing this, the police's job is to, once again, uphold the law, right? Uphold the law and follow these rules. Once again, these police officers in these situations of police brutality did not follow the rules. And they're the ones who's supposed to be leaders. So you can't sit up here and ask motherfucking people who are lower than or niggers to act right when the system ain't even acting right. Now, yes, like you said, there is a lot of things that happen within the black community that is destructive. We get that. We get that. We understand that. And that is, again, and if you see my channel, I've talked about that as well. The Bootsies of the world. Okay? Other individuals in the world that do this, but we have to once again have context and nuance because this is the first time in history where black people have been hurting each other. And why are they hurting each other? So you're not asking those questions. You own some Uncle Ruckus, Auntie Ruckus type of shit. You're not getting into the depths, and you don't have to. You don't have to. You and them Mary Mukau glasses ain't got to, girl. There are other people in the world who do get into that, who do have those conversations. Are you having those conversations over there? Are you inviting people on your platform to speak to you on why these people do this stuff? Because people do things for a reason. They don't just wake up and fucking do it. If you pay attention to what these people are saying, you will be able to understand why they do it. Not saying it's right, and then we can find a way to help remedy what's going on. And again, a lot of these individuals do what they do because they're trying to survive. Hello, and fucking hello. Y'all gonna get this work in 2023.
Last time that I checked, a lot of these niggas are using these cars to kill. Isn't that murder?
Thank you.
Murder is murder. Dead is dead, dummy.
I gotta find a way to make y'all minds permanently.
These niggas make me tired. They get me so tired. They have me so exhausted. They get me so nauseated. They make me sick. They make me sick. They're so satanic and they try to manipulate these scenarios and situations to cater to their agendas and their philosophies. And they try to twist these things to make it seem like it's not, and it is what it is. Because they want to do what they want to do. When they want to do it. And they don't want nobody saying nothing about it.
Meanwhile, you just sat here at the earlier part of your commentary and gave police officers who are quote unquote doing the nigga shit, and you was able to motherfucking let them pass by. Oh, well, you know, it's common for things to be swept under the... It's common for that to happen. Like... So when they do it, it's okay. But women, okay, girl. All right. Yes, Miss Ma'am. Let us know. Let us know, Miss Carmen Caboom.
But the chickens have come home to roost. And I saw one of the city council members last night. How many times have I contacted the city council members? How many ways have I contacted the city council members? They don't want to listen. They don't want to hear it. They making excuses. They playing games too. But the chickens have come home to roost. No longer can you hide. No longer can you make excuses. No longer can you ignore the phone calls and the emails and this, that, and the other. Everybody's looking at you. All eyes on Memphis. And a lot of people asking questions. A lot of people are looking. A lot of people are listening. A lot of people are having a lot of conversations. And no longer can these people who are selected or elected to govern these jurisdictions as it relates to the city council, no longer can you hide behind your office, behind your telephone. You can't hide. All eyes on Memphis.
Why is all eyes on Memphis? Why? That's the question you need to be asking, girl. Because we also have to deal with the present reality of how life is and what happened in this situation and why so many other black people have been put in these situations. But once again, black people are criminalized and villainized. And once you've been told that for so long, you'll start to believe it and act that way. It's all created for that. Again, there isn't a lot of healthy black representation, or shall I ain't gonna say that. There is starting to grow a healthy version of blackness, like a black renaissance is emerging, but it's overshadowed by the lower vibrational fear, guilt, and shame that a lot of us black people are not dealing with. And a lot of people want to connect to the whole white patriarchal part of it when it comes down to power and control by any means. Because once again, like you said earlier, ma'am, out of your own mouth, how police have been getting or were able to get away with what they were doing for so long. This shit is deep, ma'am. Deep and wider than them glasses, okay? Do you have the mental wherewithal? Do you have the emotional intelligence and spiritual capacity to have that conversation? That's what we want to know.
A whole lot of the national media, they're in town. They want to talk to you. They want to know what have you been doing? They're looking through the files. They're looking through the police records. They're looking at everything, and they want to know how did this happen? Who are you? What have you been doing with your job position? And a lot of y'all don't know what to do. You don't know what to say. And like Martavius, one of the city council member, who says this is his last year. The last year should have been your last year because, in my opinion, you haven't been doing anything the whole time that you've been in that seat. But warming a seat, there's a lot of seat warmers.
I agree with that.
It's getting a lot of money every payday.
Yeah.
And drinking a lot of coffee, and you're not performing.
I agree with that.
Let's be honest about it. And that's why Martavius, he started crying last night on the video when Don Lemon from CNN asked him, what are you going to do? What are you going to do to make your city better? And Martavius started crying like a baby. And he said, we're just going to have to do the work to rebuild Memphis. How many times have I heard that? How many ways have you said that? And you haven't got a hammer or a nail, literally, and start the building process yet. You've been watching the motherfucker break down around your feet and around your hot seat for years. It's done fell apart all around you, and you just sat there in your chair and watched it fall down and burn. Now, here we are. This is how we got here. How did we get here? Because you put people in position that weren't even qualified to begin with.
Just like there are people who are police officers who are not qualified either, ma'am. It's funny how the system ends up putting unqualified people in the seats. This is a gag. This is very. Yes, come through for the common ground, girl. How in all or a lot of these positions of power, girl, it's like you said, seat fillers, not really doing the work, girl. Just like the police officers aren't really doing the work. Just like there aren't police officers within their police academies, police precincts that are actually calling out other police officers who are doing the fucked up shit. Because remember, blue is gold, girl. Blue is what needs. Is important, girl. You're blue above everything else. Didn't you just say it's not what you know, it's who you know? Ma'am, didn't you just say that? And like Harold said, what have you done to rebuild the city? And better yet, what have you done to help rebuild the minds of these niggers that you're talking about? Have you been having conversations with them? Have you been reaching out to figure out what's going on in their lives and try to figure out why they respond and do the things that they do? Because I'm pretty sure if you did, you would have a different opinion and viewpoint and perspective, because you would have what is known as context and nuance. You would know about them. But see, you're not going to do that. You're going to do just like what you did with Tyre. Profile him. Generalize him broadly.
And y'all made excuses for people.
Not spicy.
You swept a lot of things under the rug. And you punished a lot of people that brought a lot of things to a lot of people's attention, instead of holding the right people accountable. That's how we got here. The chickens have come home to roost. And like I said, a lot of people may feel like, hey, those 5 policemen, they never should have been on the force to begin with. And they have a whole lot of things in their past that should have, sent up a red flag. And somebody should have stopped them before now. But they didn't. Because of how the buddy system operates all over the city. Yes. And this is the get down. Let's not pretend like this is not the get down.
But why are we not talking about the get down? Why are we allowing the get down to exist? Like, where is that smoke for them? You giving so much smoke for niggas. I mean, I would respect you more if you was able to get a smoke to both the police and the niggas. Like give smoke to everybody at this point. Equal opportunity, this bitch. Okay? But we see that you're giving one particular side smoke more so than the other one, because for the other one, the boys in blue, it's always been that way. That's always been the case. The buddy system. That's how it's always been, girl. But then you don't want to talk about that. So are you saying until black people get their shit together, they're not able to call and demand for other groups to get themselves together? Is that what you're saying? Help me understand.
And I could say so much more, but I'm going to stop right there.
No, you're not, girl. You got some time
Maybe
left.
I've already said enough.
You ain't said nothing.
But the chickens have come home to roost.
Except for some chicken.
On
and
both sides of the aisle.
Okay.
And this is not going to change anything. The reckless race car drivers are still being reckless and racing all over the city.
Police still
just this morning,
beat people.
2 of them almost ran me off the road.
What?
And this is normal. They have tried to normalize this behavior.
So what you're saying is a lot of low vibrational behavior on both sides have been normalized. Okay. I will agree with you there. As long as we're giving a smoke to both sides, hey. I can agree with that point. Like, yeah, we have to address both sides. Keyword, both sides. But don't you think the sides that have the power should be dealt with first? Because they have the power. With great power comes great responsibility. So if they're not being responsible, can you really... Okay, girl.
And in the defense of the police, they're trying to do their job. But look at what they have to contend with. They're trying to do their job, but they're getting pushed back from these so-called civil rights activists who only show up when the police is involved. But as long as it's the niggas killing the niggas, We don't see these motherfucking fake ass civil rights activists.
You see people in communities who march. There was literally groups of moms, I think in Chicago, who literally created a group to be able to speak about their experiences of having their children murdered and trying to make a difference. There are people in the community that have tried to make a difference. I remember there was a video I saw years ago of this black woman whose brother was murdered. And the guy who murdered her brother said that he didn't do it. And she had to struggle with learning how to forgive him and to let that go. But instead of just becoming bitter of that situation, she ended up becoming a lawyer, going to school to become a lawyer to be able to help black people, to be able to help them in the righteous way, instead of letting that hatred consume her to where now she's looking at niggas, like some people. No shade.
They're quiet. They're silent.
You haven't been doing your research, ma'am.
We don't hear Ben Crump. We don't see Ben Crump until it's a policeman involved. Otherwise, him and Al Sharpton don't have nothing to say, or the NAACP and whoever else. Y'all don't have nothing to say as long as these niggas are carjacking, shooting, killing, raping, robbing, and doing whatever the fuck they want to do every fucking day. Nobody wants justice for none of these people that they've killed.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
A lot of people can't even go to
the same people that's crying have the same level of frustration and pain and anguish like Tyre's parents. The same people who motherfucking sons were murdered by Mook Mook around the way feel the same way. What are you talking about? There are people out there who do march and who do try to have some sort of reconciliation and to be able to hold accountable the people who did the shit. Have you done your research further? Again, we live in a social media era, girl. Do your research. You got a whole supercomputer in your hand, baby. Google is just one fucking a tap away.
The gas station in peace, because you got carjackers sitting in the parking lot, circling and riding around all over the city. A lot of them in stolen cars with a whole lot of stolen guns, ready to blow somebody's head off and take whatever they got. The streets are very unsafe. Al Sharpton and Ben Crump don't have nothing to say about that.
How do we get here?
Activists don't want to march.
How do we get here, ma'am? How do we get to that point? Let me know. How do we? Because I have an idea, and I've shared it a lot on my channel, girl. Do your research. No shade. That's what you need to do. But how do we get to this point, ma'am? What do you think happened? You think niggas just woke up one day and said, I feel like stealing a car?
Protest about that? Let's stop playing these games. And if you're outraged about these 5 black police officers, and I know you're mad because you can't play the race card. And yes, it was more than 5 policemen out there. We all can count. Even if you didn't graduate high school, we all can count. Once again, it's a lot of games being played with this video. And people are selective with their outrage and their accountability. Everybody that was out there dealing with that situation, they are not included with the 5 policemen that got fired for whatever reason.
Because as we read on the CNN thing, their rules and what they're obliged to do is that if they experience a police officer acting out of conduct, they are supposed to stop and to intervene. Nobody intervened. That's why, ma'am. That's why. Because nobody intervened. They had a responsibility to intervene and they didn't. So that's why they're being connected to this whole situation. Did you forget that part? What?
I know a white hand when I see it. And the person, one of the police officers that was having the body cam, he was white. The one that was holding the body cam, he was the one that said, I hope they go and kick his ass or kick his head or whatever he said. Okay? But for whatever reason, he wasn't fired. But if it's wrong for the black guys, why wasn't it wrong for the white ones?
You just proved my point, ma'am. You just proved my point. You talking about you can't bring race into it as you bring race into it. Okay.
That's
Yes,
just a
ma'am.
question that I have. But anyway, there's so much selective outrage. There's so much selective accountability. And I don't feel like we're being completely fair on both sides of the aisle with this whole situation. And like I said, if it's wrong for the five police officers to do whatever they did to Tyreek, it should be just as wrong for these niggas in the street to do what they're doing that is putting people's lives in jeopardy and killing a lot of people as a result of their actions.
And I agree with that, but we also have to hold motherfucker accountability all around the spectrum. And right now, the individuals that are accountable are these people, these five police officers. But it goes to a bigger thing, just like how you said. It was a white man who said they should have kicked him in the fucking head. I'm so glad they kicked him in the head, or whatever the hell he said. And he wasn't charged. Do you see what we're talking about here? And once again, when you do your research, there are black people out there that have initiative. There are people out there who motherfucking brother, sister, mama, cousin, uncle, auntie, granddad who have been murdered by other black people who have now created organizations to try to stop the crime within black communities. Like, ma'am.
So we're going to hold the police accountable and demand justice. Okay, we need to keep that same energy across the board as it relates to these niggas that's doing a lot of things that's jeopardizing the lives and killing people every single day. And that's going over a lot of people's head. For some reason, a lot of people they get offended when I talk like that. And I know I'm talking right. But that's the nature of the niggas. So,
Which niggas, though? Which niggas? How do you know which nigga is doing this? Just by looking at them? Don't you think that's profiling? Like, let's judge them by the actions. But that's the problem. We live in a world now that we have to judge by actions. Just like you did, you just sat up here and just said that Tyre ass, because he drives these nigga cars, and he was quote unquote recklessly driving, which once again the police officers were not able to substantiate that fucking happened, girl. And just like you did, you made a broad generalization and called him a nigga. And to say, well, the reason why he got his ass beat the way he did is because he was doing nigga shit. And then try to conflate that with what's going on in blackness, saying that, are you saying that all these nigga motherfuckers deserve to get their ass beat like that? Or do you believe these niggas who are acting this way deserve to be rehabilitated because they're acting out in some way? See, that's why also emotional intelligence and emotional nuance and context is important as well. You can't get mad when you sit up here and say, oh, it's not one person knows everything, but a lot of motherfuckers know more than you. A lot of motherfuckers know more than you. So maybe you need to step your goddamn mental pussy up, your emotional pussy up, and please step up the sunglasses too, girl. You got these bug aviator. Let me stop.
To my understanding, everybody knows right from wrong.
Exactly, spicy.
And when you put yourself in a situation to hold court in the street with the police, you're gonna lose. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna lose. I don't care how you feel about the police. I don't care what you've seen in the past with George. And I'm so sick of people bringing up, you know what happened to George Floyd? This is worse than Rodney King. That sounds so stupid.
What?
And you're comparing apples to oranges.
It's still fruit, though.
Both of the situations mixed together, it's not the same.
It's still fruit. Girl, they got their ass beat. And unlike Rodney King, I think he survived his situation. Tyre, unfortunately, did not. Okay, girl. Jesus. Oh, white Jesus, help me, Lord.
Okay. And it boils down to, regardless of however you feel about the police, You have to respect authority.
No, these
Okay?
motherfuckers are public servants. They work for the people. They need to work with the people. But when you operate with an iron fist, how are people going to respect that? Real respect comes from appreciation and understanding, not fear. And eventually, when motherfuckers fear something, they end up hating what they fear. That's the fucking problem. Maybe police officers need to have some sensitivity training because, once again, they're the ones going to the academy. But see, the academy teaches the police officer how to protect itself, not to protect the people when they're supposed to be protecting the people. And the police are not preventative. They are responsive. They're responding to shit. That's why when people say the actual defunding of the police or revising police is meaning that we need more preventative measures in place as opposed to response. Because once again, when you walk around with a gun and you walk around with this powerful hammer, pretty soon everything around you looks like a nail. And when she said apples to oranges, I don't give a fuck. It's still a goddamn fruit. Apples, oranges, pears, nectarines, plums, they're still under the umbrella of fruit. Just different extensions and different versions and expressions of the goddamn fruit.
And God says, and a lot of y'all hard-headed folks, you say that you are a Christian. But just like the Bible, you want to pick and choose what you choose to obey in the Bible, and you want to do the same. You want to keep that same logic when it comes to the law in the land. You're going to lose. You're going to lose. You got to obey all the way, not the parts that you like.
And if we're gonna play that game, girl, the police gotta obey all the way too, girl. Like follow the protocols that they sworn themselves to do, which obviously these 5 police officers did not, ma'am. So you go ahead and you place blame on the black side, girl. And in some cases, I can understand and agree with you, girl. Again, check out my YouTube video. I've done that as well. But we also gonna give accountability on this part, especially when this shit has happened. Because if I'm not mistaken, black people killing black people didn't really start until like the beginning, like the middle of the 70s, going into the 80s, when the crack epidemic happened. That's when all this gangster rap and all this other shit about black violence against black people started to happen, girl. But we're also talking about and addressing a situation that happened for centuries, ma'am. Fight the Evil Robot says, legality and morality is not the same thing. Some moral things are illegal, and some legal things are immoral. Ooh, come on, Fight the Evil Robots. Some moral things are illegal, some legal things are immoral.
And when you put yourself in a position to hold court in the street with the police, you are one person. I don't care how long and strong your legs and arms are. I don't know. I don't care if you know how to do karate and all this other stuff. Okay. A lot of y'all been watching too many video games. And then you cannot differentiate reality from fiction. Okay? And it's one of you and 5 or more police. How do you think that's going to work out for you when you are being combative and wanting to fight the police? You're going to get the fucking fuck knocked out of you, okay? And I heard a lot of people say, oh, the police was calling him a bitch. And yeah, I heard the police call him a bitch too. I heard the police telling him he going to get the fuck blowed out of him and all that stuff. Okay, y'all talk to each other like that, and you talk to the police, you talk to your mama, you talk to your daddy like that. So why do you have these high standards for the police, but you don't have none for yourself or your own kind? Okay. But when you put yourself in that position to be combative, the boy, let's be honest and not pretend like we didn't see what we saw. Okay, you're not doing him no favors by lying for him and trying to run defense for him and pretend like you are Stevie Wonder with your eyes. You saw what I saw, and I saw that boy, Tyre.
Okay, girl, so you're talking about this. I just looked this up, girl. Okay, let's look at the 4th Amendment real quick, girl, because again, we give context and nuance. I don't want to fight. I want to abolish them. I want them to stop from harming people. And let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Does the Fourth Amendment protect you from excessive force? Which is what those police officers did. That's why it's called police brutality, ma'am. If you take them sunglasses off, maybe you can see. You can see clearly now. Them cheap ass glasses is gone. The Fourth Amendment of the United States Constitution prohibits the use of excessive force in the course of an arrest, investigatory stop, or other seizure. Excessive force by a law enforcement officer is force that is objectively unreasonable under the circumstances. Officers generally are trained that force that is unnecessary under the circumstances also is unreasonable. And I guess it says something about California. And California has codified that now for deadly force. Thus, excessive force, thus excessive force equals unreasonable force, equals unnecessary force. These terms can be interchangeable, and they are all unlawful force under the Fourth Amendment. So what is the Fourth Amendment? The Fourth Amendment provides, quote, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath and affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the person or things to be seized. Okay? How is the Fourth Amendment's prohibition of excessive force enforced? Our most cherished rights under the Constitution are enforced almost entirely by private individuals with the help of civil rights attorneys in civil court or criminal defense attorneys defending them in a criminal prosecution, which unfortunately Tyre never had the fucking chance to be tried by his peers. That's the problem. If these niggas out here doing nigga shit, then let these niggas go to court. Because once again, according to the law, girl, people are innocent until proven guilty. And Tyre, motherfucking Philando Castile, George fucking Floyd, all these other individuals who have been reduced only to hashtags, unfortunately, okay, never had the opportunity to do that. So how can we sit up here and hold these people accountable if we can't even allow them to be alive to be held accountable when they're being murdered? Ma'am, do your motherfucking research. Where was I at? The federal government has almost no enforcement mechanism to protect individual constitutional rights. Instead, our system relies on private enforcement of the Fourth Amendment and other important rights. Okay? So the Fourth Amendment was put in place to be able to protect yourself from excessive force. Those individuals ran up on Tyre as if though they knew this nigga had a chopper in the car. 4 other niggas with goddamn full automatics. They ran up to that car with their weapons drawn, yanking him out the car, subduing him. We see him on the ground. Then they proceed to mace him and to tase him. Of course, at that moment in time, your ass is gonna want to get the fuck up and leave. Girl, if you're getting fucked up, it's unreasonable force. So the Fourth Amendment just says you have a right to protect yourself against unreasonable force, even if it comes from law enforcement, because they're not supposed to do that. But you just told us, ma'am, throughout your commentary that this is how it is, and this is what happens, and this is how it goes, and why are we acting all crazy when it comes down to the get down? Okay, ma'am, well, God forbid your ass ends up in a situation where police start whooping your ass, girl. Do you want us to come back and give you sympathy, girl? Or are you going to be able to sit back and say, you know what? You know, them glasses is big enough to cover up black eyes. So if your ass survived the encounter, are you going to sit back and say, you know what? I brought this upon myself. You know what? The fact that my ass got maced twice and pepper sprayed and tased, and I got shot and got hit in the head a few times with a baton, and niggas curb stomping me and all this other type of shit, girl. Are you still going to have that same situation? And on top of that, wasn't those police officers acting like niggas? Wasn't they doing nigga shit? So are those police officers the same niggas that you talking about, ma'am? Cause they use excessive, they did nigga shit too. They destroy somebody's family too. They son not coming back no more. They brother not coming back no more. They cousin, they nephew not coming back anymore, ma'am. Very much so. The very origin of policing in the USA is from the slave catchers associations. They are literally rooted in the idea of protecting property over life, especially black life. Of course, that's why I said these public servants, we know who they serve, and they don't serve black and brown bodies. And if that was the case, the police officers inside of these police precincts would be holding their fellow. So you want black people to hold each other accountable, girl, but the blue ain't gonna hold the blue accountable, girl, because we're blue first, right? So why are we mad at black people saying, well, we niggas first, right? Right? Why do you have all these high standards for this this chef at this restaurant, but not your friend fixing you a plate at the house? Ikarabo Shande. Like, the logic is nowhere to be found. It's a false equivalency. The logic is not logicking, girl. It's not. It's not. It's not.
Being combative, he was arguing with the police. Why you stopping me? Why I ain't did?
Yeah, because the police supposed to let them know. That's what they're supposed to do. And when they're arresting you, aren't they supposed to read you your Miranda rights? You have the right to remain silent. Weren't they supposed to be doing that in the midst of that? And once again, when the police pulls you over, they're supposed to let you know. But girl, they ain't got to tell you, girl. They pulled the gun out. What the joke say? How do you tell? Bitch, how the joke go? How it go? I'm trying to figure out how the joke went. My dad said a long time ago. What do you tell a nigga with two black eyes? Nothing. You already told him twice. That's the logic they on. I'm going to say it again. What do you tell a nigga with two black eyes? Nothing. You already told him twice. That is the logic, ma'am.
Nothing. And all that. They always say they ain't did nothing. And they mama always said, that's my baby. They ain't never did nothing wrong. They was a good boy.
Okay, him recklessly driving was not proven. Again, it was not substantiated, ma'am. So why did they pull him over? Because he was driving a nigga car, and those nigga cars are associated with racing up and down the street? Like I said, can you provide for me factual evidence and past police reports that proves that Tyre was out here goddamn Fast and Furious 13 in this bitch? Was out here scurrying and putting all type of goddamn tire smoke in the air and just fucking everybody else up?
They was a good boy. They was a good boy. I'm so sick of it. Huh. You know you got a heathen in your household. And that's another thing. Okay, what I'm getting ready to say is very, very controversial.
Girl, just say
it's going to hurt somebody's feelings.
Girl,
it may even be insulting to you.
You've been saying it. Go ahead. What's happening?
But a lot of people said this.
What they say?
Oh, and that touched a lot of the queens, the black queens. That touched a lot of their heart when they heard him holler out. Just like with George Floyd when he hollered out, "Mama!" And then the boy, he was hollering for his mama, Tyre. "Mom, mom, mom." And then a lot of y'all said, "Ooh, when a black man, a grown black man holler out for his mama, it's serious. Ooh, I don't know what I do if my son holler out for me and I couldn't do nothing for him. And this, that, and other." Why didn't holler out for his daddy? He got a daddy. He been on TV. To me, it's insulting.
What?
And it shows the emasculation of the black man.
Oh, girl, you really about to make me... Girl. What? What? What?
I can't do this.
She went more.
I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this.
What? Huh? How about the fact that he was fucking scared? And let's be real. Men have more connections with their mom, just like how daughters have more connection with their fathers. It's the fact that this person was scared. And for a grown man to be so terrified to call for his mom, it goes back to this song. What's his name? What was his name? Let me type it up. Hold on, y'all. By Scarface. And I found this song on one of the episodes of P-Valley. The name of the song is called I Seen a Man Die. And the chorus of the song says, I've never seen a man cry until I've seen a man die. When you have your whole motherfucking life flashing in front of your goddamn eyes, you got 5 motherfuckers coming at you, yelling at you and screaming at you. They ain't come to talk. They ain't come to have no damn conversation. They didn't come to diffuse the situation. They instigated the situation, coming with guns, dragging you out the car, slamming you on the ground, you asking what's going on. They're not telling you what's going on, so your ass is scared. Motherfuckers macing you, motherfuckers tasing you, then you getting hit in the head and stomped on. Hell yeah, I would have cried out for my mama too. And I have a father in my life. And my father already told me that if he was around and if I was in George Floyd's situation, both he and I would be dead. Because he would have been whooping ass too. Get the fuck up off my goddamn son. Because what you're doing is not handling my son correctly. And if he did something wrong, allow him to be able to live and survive the motherfucking encounter. Philando Castile tried to survive the encounter. He told the police officer he has a gun in the car, had his hands where it was, but the police officer was afraid because he was a black man and shot him anyway, and Philando Castile cooperated.
Embarrassing. A lot of y'all think that's a badge of honor for a grown man in these compromising positions with the police,
Girl,
the authority.
a mama gonna all. I'm 31 years old, and my mom is still gonna call me her baby. That's a motherly thing. Do you have children? Do you have children, Miss Caboom? How would you feel if your child, your son, if you have one, who was in the same predicament as Tyre, and he called out for you? Would you say, oh, my son, he embarrassed me. You need to be calling out for your damn, don't call out for me. Or would you be like, your son is gone, your son crying out for help, and you can't help him?
To be calling out for your mama. It shows how the black male, in my opinion, has been emasculated.
And guess what? Them black ass men, them black ass police officers came through and showed the quote unquote emasculation by whooping his motherfucking ass to where he died and succumbed to his injuries. So a black man was there. This wasn't a white man. It's funny, he was calling out for the black woman, but yet the black man was fucking him up, girl. Make it make sense. And you was talking about these black niggas, right? A lot of these black niggas is daddies, right? So how can you talk about him calling out for his dad, but his dad would have been a nigga too, because Tyre's a nigga according to you, right? Who's driving up and down the goddamn street, right? Right?
And that's embarrassing for a black man to be in the cusp, in the thresholds of losing, inches away from losing his life, and the last words coming out of his mouth is mama. It shows that he's still a child.
What?
And I'm not trying to offend this man or his mama. I'm just saying.
You just speaking ignorantly. That's board, okay.
It's very improper to me. And it's really an embarrassment across the whole community. And it's a reflection on how you queens have raised your sons. And you have, and see, they are acting out of emotions based on how you have raised them.
Girl, they're acting out of emotions. You just said that the police He should have filed. According to you, from what you saw, I gotta believe you wore them glasses too, because that's the only way your ass able to motherfucking look at the video, because you made no sense whatsoever for the most part. You just said that he shouldn't have been fighting back police. He should have been responding. And he shouldn't have been responding in that way. He should have been cooperating with the police, right? He should have been following the police orders. When you have all these things being done to you at one time, I can only imagine what the fuck Tyre went through. He was afraid for his life because, once again, he probably never would have thought that he would have been reduced to a hashtag. Just like George Floyd didn't think he would be reduced to a hashtag. Just like Sandra Bland didn't think that she would be reduced to a hashtag, or that Trayvon Martin would be reduced as a hashtag. But look at his reality. And that's why people are afraid. Black people are afraid because, once again, that can be any one of us. You literally have videos of people being handcuffed and being beat up and being shot while they're handcuffed. They're already subdued, girl. What more do you want? And it's 5 of y'all against one person. Why? There were other methods that they could have used to be able to apprehend him instead of such extreme brutal force like that in language. Motherfuckers telling me I'm about to knock you the fuck out. I'm finna baton the fuck out of you. Put your motherfucking hands up. I'm finna motherfucking mace you. I'm finna motherfucking tase you. And then you're saying him crying out for his mom is something? Thank you. A lot of people, no matter the race, when they're at death call for girl, when you dealing with the objective reality that your reality is finna come to an end, girl, you gonna be calling for white. Girl, how many motherfuckers who ain't Christians, girl, had a whole fucking situation happen, girl, and now they at church every day? How many people been converted from Christianity to Muslim because of a situation, girl? Like, when they're faced with, when their mortality is being challenged and in their face like that, they will call out for so many motherfucking things. Meanwhile, you got this goddamn ASOS glasses and earring combination, girl, because I gotta believe that's the only thing your ass can fit on ASOS, girl, to get up here and tell us why we shouldn't have no sympathy towards Tyre, but at the same time be okay and accept the reality that, girl, the police gonna do what they want to do, and that's just the goddamn get down.
And you all don't see this. And you so caught up with being the man and the woman. God didn't create you to be a man and a woman.
Here we go, girl. Yeah, I can tell this is gonna be.
And you are so emotional, and you raise your sons to be emotional, and they grow up in that energy, and they inadvertently are being put in harm's way. My God. That's real heavy right there. That whole realm right there where I am right now, it's real heavy. And I don't have time to dwell into that. That's for another day. But a lot of people can see the wrong in this situation, and a lot of people feel like, oh, it was just so wrong for them to be punching and kicking him in his face like that, and he was handcuffed behind his back, and they did this and they did that. It's amazing to me how y'all can see how wrong the police was, but y'all can't see the wrong in that boy.
Where was the wrong? Because he was asking, why y'all doing this to me? Because he was asking, what am I being put over for? See, that'd be the gag for me. Because if we were in the court of law, the only way to prove your point is beyond a reasonable doubt with the evidence that has been here. And once again, going back to the CNN article I read earlier, at the beginning of this live, girl, you have analysts, you have professionals, girl, not just motherfuckers like you and I who get on goddamn YouTube and voice our opinions, girl, but actually, that's their job. We're able to call and say that these officers did not act in integrity. And we objectively seen what the hell has happened, to the point for a lot of black people's mental sanity did not watch the video. Other black people saw the video and told other black people, don't watch the video because you will be triggered, because once again, this is a historical thing that has been happening for so long. Do you see that? You older than me. You should have been seeing it more than me. I should be the one that should be up here speaking ignorantly, not you. If the police were doing their job, they would have been able to apprehend him. Now, if you got to make some motherfucker, I'd rather you make some motherfucker and tase a motherfucker. At least they can recover from being tased. At least they can recover from being maced. But to be maced twice, then tased, then these niggas start playing whack-a-mole on his head with these nightsticks, these batons, and then punching and kicking him in the face. The motherfucker was already on the ground, girl. I could understand if they was trying to arrest The Big Show. I could understand they was trying to arrest Ryback. I could understand if they were trying to arrest Braun Strowman. Hell, I could understand if they were trying to arrest goddamn Brock Lesnar. I could understand if they were trying to arrest some Arnold Schwarzenegger, roid rage, just bench press semi-trucks for a living ass niggas. Then yes, you gotta take that nigga down by any means. But 5 people on Tyre after Tyre was on the fucking ground, and these individuals who again are analysts were able to rectify that, and not rectify, but able to literally address what everybody else is saying. Meanwhile, you're the one who doesn't. So once again, where's your facts? Because of some shit that happened to you? We can understand you're speaking subjective. At this point, you're speaking subjectively for yourself. But when it comes to the objective shit, boo, you wrong. You wrong, you motherfucking wrong. You don't know what you talk. You talking out the side of your neck and the side of them earrings. Them cheap ass. Okay, let me stop. Girl, we almost done, y'all. I promise you, we almost done, girl. I done took this hour shit and turned it into almost 3 hours, bitch. I am literally floored at how this woman is blaming this man for his own death. Well, that's what she's saying. And God forbid if something happened to her ass, girl, keep that. You talking about keeping the same, keep the same energy. When there's someone close to you, girl, keep that same energy. Especially if it's somebody you knew who wasn't like that, who wasn't a nigger, who was out here bettering their life. Keep that same energy, ma'am. Because we gonna keep it.
I can see the wrong that he did. And I think it's because you don't like authority. You always gonna find fault in authority. I'm not saying that the police is right or wrong. I'm just saying.
You're not saying they right or wrong, girl. So the police has full. You're neutral when it comes to well, I'm not saying they're right or they're wrong, but you're saying that this black man wrong, girl. And you're seeing shit that we don't see. Meanwhile, you're choosing to objectively not see what everybody else sees, which is in your face, which, again, analysts, professionals have seen. Girl, whatever weed strain you smoking, I don't want that shit, girl. In the words of Cat Williams, if it's gonna have me thinking like you, girl, give me regular weed. I don't need a Cryptocana Conjure Light. I don't need none of that, if that's what you want.
And I think it's unfair that you can always find fault in authority, but you can't find fault in the people that's being in that situation by the police.
Then my thing is, let them go to court so that they can be tried by their peers and then be accountable. Because once again, according to the law, these individuals are innocent until proven guilty. Tyre, unfortunately, will never have that luxury. Because those officers were the judge, the jury, and the goddamn executioner.
I just don't believe that, the way that a lot of people are trying to portray this boy. Oh, he's so innocent. He was just riding his skateboard and he's just going home to his mama. He didn't do nothing wrong. I really don't believe the police just stopped him just to be stopping him. They had a reason to stop that boy.
Girl, what?
Okay, let's not play these
Girl,
games.
what? Girl, what?
Let's not play these games. They didn't just pick him out the bunch and say, we're going to beat the fuck out of him today.
but they couldn't. Okay, I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna let you finish.
Okay,
Go ahead.
that's not the case, and it's really too bad that we cannot hear the from the police and hear them tell their side of the story, and they're
Baby
gonna have
Donna
to
is
wait till they
upset.
go to court.
I ain't mad at you,
Okay.
Donna.
In the meantime, a lot of these heathens out here are so caught up in their emotions that they're putting these police um, families in jeopardy because they feel like, well, we got to get them back some kind of way. We got to make them hurt because they don't hurt this family, even though we don't know this family. You know, that could have been one of us. That could have been one of us. Well, hell, it is one of y'all every day out here by the niggas killing you every day and trying to kill you and run you over with their race cars. And you're not trying to find their address and put their address online. Let's be fair
You're
with
not
these
fair.
attacks, okay?
You're not
Let's
fair.
be fair. That's
You're
all
not
I'm
fair.
saying.
You're not fair.
And now, because you put these police addresses online, now their families, now they are in jeopardy. They gotta move. They gotta make some decisions as far as where they work, where they play, where they.
And they'll find another job. I mean, no shade, girl. They get to go on with their lives. They're inconvenienced. And just like you said, it's not what you know, it's who you know. There's gonna be other motherfuckers that's gonna be able to help them out. That's gonna be able to give them a job, girl. The way white America is, girl, they'll see that as a badge of honor, girl. Shit, you one of us now. So they're gonna be okay. They're gonna be all right. They're gonna be cool. But guess who's not gonna be all right forever? Tyre's family. Because they have to wake up and realize that their child's not there. The police officers, they wife and shit, they can move somewhere else and start a brand new life and be okay and be cool and be all right. Again, a temporary inconvenience. Well, just like you said, well, if them niggas wasn't doing what they was doing, they wouldn't be in that situation. Well, if the police officers were actually acting in conduct in the way that they were supposed to, we wouldn't even be in this situation talking about it today.
They do
I'm
this,
trying
that, and the
not to
other.
read, girl. I'm trying not to read.
You feel like you want to just do something to get them back, even if it's not right.
Well, you just said it ain't right, whether it's right or wrong. I'm gonna be on the same thing like you,
But,
right or wrong. I mean, it ain't right, it ain't wrong. I'm gonna take a page out your book.
This isn't the first situation like this. It's not even gonna be the last.
Unfortunately.
And it's just in human nature of a lot of people to do what they want to do. So as long as you do what you want to do, you're gonna still suffer the same fate. And look how well it's been working out for you by you doing it your way instead of doing it God's way.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And if it wasn't, like I told this woman a while ago, if it wasn't God, God is the author and finisher of life. Okay. If it wasn't his.
That part's spicy. Like, if we're gonna play the accountability game around the whole thing, let's do it around the whole thing. Because I've given that smoke to people outside the community, and I've definitely given that smoke to people inside the community. I ain't gonna say Google me. I mean, you can. My channel ain't that large. Your channel is much larger than mine. But I still put in that work. So my thing is, there are people giving the smoke all around. I'm just saying, girl, don't get up here and say, well, the police, whether they're right or wrong, but just say that this person, Tyre, was completely wrong. What? In the fuck? God said, now why am I in it? Well, God is in everything. But the thing about God is that God will reveal as well. And a lot of people who say they know God, girl, is going to gag, girl. Because God going to be like, oh, you don't know me as much as you think you do. But I'm going to help you. And hopefully he can deliver you from them glasses, girl. Because them glasses irritate my spirit. Okay? Please.
The will for Tyre to be dead, he would still be alive. So apparently God said enough is enough. Okay? The wages of sin is death. I'm not saying that everybody that commits sin is going to die. It's God's will. He keeps your records. He know what you've been doing and what you earn and what you deserve.
So when them niggas was running you out off the street and they race cars, I guess that was God's will too. I guess the fact that these niggas out here just killing and murdering people, I guess that's God's will too, girl, because God allowed it. I mean, look at the face, so it's part of God's will, right? So are we going to keep that same energy as well, ma'am? Or is there now an exclusion and an exception when it comes to you and your viewpoint? Because you know God and you have a phone number directly lying to him and you went to lunch with him yesterday.
And when he say lights out, the lights are out and they're not coming on again. Period. But
we at the end. Thanks, Jesus.
You know, the city, I can imagine they will expedite the payday for the family. I haven't seen many tears. You know, they say, oh, everybody, they grieve differently. You know, I would think if I'm a mother, I would just be inconsolable. Okay. I would just be crying all over the TV. But, you know, the mother, she seems to be holding up pretty good. She can just talk. She's been talking and having all kind of interviews.
That's because black women are very powerful. Black women have a higher threshold for pain. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not a black woman. I can't speak for that. But I guess from other people's standpoint and just factually, black women deal with a lot of pain. You just said that a lot of black women have to be the mama and the daddy girl. The daddy ain't there, so what the fuck they supposed to do? So yes, she had to hold the fuck up. And yes, people grieve differently. How about the fact that this woman lost her goddamn son? Lost her baby. When you can't even bring up factual proof of how her baby was a menace to society. And you just labeled him a menace to society because it was easier for you to do, because you don't want to do your homework. You don't want to do your mental and emotional upgrade. To the point to where you got on these cheap ass morning glasses as if though they're giving you some sort of insight into some shit. What? Okay, girl, we almost done.
And just crossing her legs, got the Vaseline going and popping and things. And, you know, just like with a whole lot of these scenarios before now, a lot of these mothers of these dead sons, they always be quiet after they get a check and they stop crying.
How do you know this?
So is it about justice or is it about the check?
Oh my God. So you're saying that black women out here, are you saying that black women out here are monopolizing their children's life just to get a coin? Is that what you're saying? That all of these women out here are monopolizing their thug nigger ass son's life just to get a check with some commas in it?
Is it about justice or is it about the check? I heard the protesters telling the news reporters that we want reparations. Where did that come from? Where did that come from? What does that have to do with justice, getting justice for Tyre? That's a whole nother protest right there. How did you intertwine reparations with justice for Tyre? You see how ignorant these folks is. I don't have time for them today. Okay, I don't have time for them. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say for now. And it's a bunch of foolishness going on, okay? It's a bunch of foolishness. It's a bunch of foolishness. And the stealing has already begun. I knew they were going to steal. I knew they were going to go stealing and busting up doors.
Well, hopefully somebody steal and get you some new glasses, girl,
of these businesses and glass and things.
These Betty Davis ass glasses.
And they done solicited a lot of other roguish folks from out of town. And they done come over to help them out with the stealing. And it's not about justice. It's about you heathens just getting buck wild and doing what you want to do. And trying to take over the city. You want to take over the city. You want the city under siege. Okay. You want to do what you want to do. You want the police out of your way so you can just run wild and do what you please. Okay. That's what you want. Let's be honest. Be honest. And stop pretending like it's about justice. Okay. No justice, no peace. How long y'all gonna sing that song? No justice, no peace. Well, hell, you've been breaking the peace for a whole lot of years. You're not giving nobody no peace, no way. So is it really about the justice? Huh? But anyway,
Yeah, you done. We gotta hear your shit no more. Now, before I go, and I'm gonna try something new here. For anybody that wants to share their mind, I'm thinking about dropping the link and having a little conversation with y'all. Is there anybody that would like to come up? Because if not, we can end this live because we almost been for 3 hours. But I don't mind having a conversation. Is there anybody that would like to come up for a little while? You will not be seen. It'll be like a podcast type of thing. Like when nobody will be able to see you, will be able to hear you. So is there anybody that would like to come up and to voice their concerns and how they feel? And if so, please let me know and I will drop the goddamn link. Okay? I'm going to wait and just see what the comments say. Okay. I'm going to read y'all comments while y'all decide if y'all want to come up or not. I'm going to give y'all like a minute or so. Oh, she one of them. Donna said, bitch, at this point, may all 5 of them have their balls nailed down. Donna said, bitch, fuck that. Okay. I'm really floored how this woman is blaming this man for death. It doesn't even matter what he did or didn't do. He didn't deserve that. Exactly. He deserves to be tried in the court of law by his peers and let his peers decide what the judgment should be. He didn't have to say nope, not at all. Not for none of that shit. She is an ignorant fool. Let her experience losing a child. I'm sure she'll feel different. But she's not a mother, she said. I don't think she said if I had a child, so you know. Baby Donna said, she is pissing me off. Not the bird. And high in the face, yep. Is that going to be a separate video or in here? What do you mean? You talking about me dropping the link? I want to drop the link now. I ain't about to come back for no part 2 unless her ass respond. And like I said, I give Carmen Caboom 100% permission to use this live or any of my videos if she wants to as commentary. But my thing is, I hope that if you do, you bring forth receipts, you bring forth facts, you bring forth context and nuance. Because if you get up here and you slick try to read, girl, baby, I'm going to go ahead and go to the liquor store, the nigga liquor store, get me a nigga drink, get some Coke 45 or a goddamn Old English or something. I'm going to drink half of that shit. I'm going to take my shirt off, put this damn do-rag on, and I'm going to read you like a nigga. And I don't want to hear shit about, oh, I'm a woman, a black man, a black man. No. We talking about your mindset and your viewpoints, which is very ignorant. So for the last time, does anybody want the link dropped? I'm going to give y'all 30 seconds because y'all, my ass is hungry. And I am tired. And I am emotionally drained. I've been low-key emotionally drained for these past few days. And this shit kind of irritated me. Shout out to Harold for letting me know about this video. And we gonna see if Carmen Caboom gonna respond, because I believe she does respond fast. That's if she chooses to, because this video almost goddamn 3 hours long. So hopefully she'll watch the entire video. I ask that you do, Carmen, if you end up watching this, to watch the entire video, because I did for you. We sat here for almost 3 hours picking apart what the hell you said. Okay? Okay. I guess nobody wants to come up, which is fine. Which is cool. I hope that you all please like the video. Okay? Please like the video. I would say share if you want to, but you don't have to if you don't choose to. I would prefer you to like the video as opposed to anything else. Okay? But yes, please share this. Oh, Lord, girl, this woman got me all over the place. Shout out to everyone who came through. Shout out to Spicy. I'm going to have to come on these days. Yeah, one of these days we can. No problem. Shout out to Donna, Queen Donna. Shout out to Aries. Shout out to Ron. I'm waiting for the other Ron to respond. He ain't hit me back in a minute. I'm like, come on, nigga. When we having this public conversation, bro, don't be scared, nigga. Walk in your conservative Jesus Christ truth, girl. Shame the homosexuals. Shout out to Fight the Evil Robots, who I believe subscribed to me recently. Shout out to them. I think I said shout out to Harold, right? Shout out to Harold. Who else we got? Shout out to whoever the hell this is, girl. I don't know what this was, girl. You speaking from a different perspective. We talking about the African American perspective. It's kind of different, girl. No shade. Shout out to Low Key. Okay, Low Key Fur. Okay. I think that was everybody came into the chat, if I'm not mistaken. To Queen Amber. Shout out to Queen Amber. I think that was it. Yes. Anyway, thank y'all so much for joining me on this random ass live. We gonna see how things go, because I do want to come back, and I eventually want to try to finish up the Cross in the Closet, because we almost done, y'all. So I'm gonna see about that. But I appreciate y'all, and until next time, everybody, peace.
Love never dies, just choose to be born again. Yeah.